Well, you're not punished just because you don't choose God. You're punished because you sin. It's the same thing like people say, well, do you go to hell because you don't believe in Jesus? Not really. The reason you're going to hell is because you've sinned.
I get asked a lot, like I've heard you talk and give examples about, God can't, it's not true love if it's force.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're not going to get into heaven God doesn't really want us to love him if it has to be something that he extracts from us, right?
Right. We either have free will or we don't. If we don't have free will, we're just robots.
Right.
If we do have free will, then love can occur. That's one reason that evil exists, is because God has given us free will so we can love, but we can also use our free will for evil.
I guess, though, the question that I get challenged a lot on is it's kind of the same thing. It's still forced love, is it not? If someone says the only way to heaven is through me, like there is no other choice, I'm the only choice. Is that still just one choice and there's not the option to choose one way or the other? Like if you're on a train track to hell, like you didn't come into this world choosing to be sinful, you just were.
Right, but God gives you a free ticket off that train.
Right.
Which is Jesus.
Right.
And so he makes that available to everyone. And if you don't want that, that's your prerogative. But if you want it, God wants you off it. He loves you, but he can't force you to love him. Mm-hmm. He has to give you the free will to either choose it so you can choose it or not choose it. How many different ways do you need to get to heaven is the question. Right. The reason Jesus is the only way is not because it's an arbitrary claim. Like he says, look, I'm the only way. You got to go through me. The reason he's the only way is because he's the only one that can solve the problem, because he is innocent and he takes the punishment on himself for us. Everybody else is guilty. I can't take your punishment on me because I got to be punished myself. But he's an innocent human being who volunteers to take the sins of the world upon himself. So God remains just, and he allows the unjust there not to go punished or not to be punished because he's punished somebody else in our place.
I think some people struggle with seeing that as just. They see it as, well, I don't want to choose God, and then he's going to punish me for it. So,
well, you're not punished just because you don't choose God. You're punished because you sin. It's the same thing like people say, well, do you go to hell because you don't believe in Jesus? Not really. The reason you're going to hell is because you've sinned. It's like saying, do you die because you don't go to the doctor? No, you die because you have a disease. Now, maybe going to the doctor, you could prevent dying. Just like going to Jesus, the great doctor, you can prevent eternal death. But the reason you're dying is because you have a disease known as sin. It's not because you haven't gone to the doctor. You can not die if you go to the doctor, but that's a decision you need to make.